Everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with a layout. I'm going to be creating a layout and with the products from Cheeky Studios as the die cuts, and this is the winter flowers. I have the die cuts and I have the flare pins or flare badges. There's a word, an acrylic word that says at the moment, and then there's also some 3x4 cards, Project Life cards that I might use on this too. Might be some other little few goodies. I want to talk about who was present at my daughter's when she's getting married next summer, and I just want to do a page about who was there to help her choose her dress. And first time out, she found the dress, and so the die cuts will be from Cheeky Studios. Now for my stash, I just grabbed a few labels because when I start some embellishment clusters, I like to start them with labels. So I have a few labels here and a 2x2 Project Life card. I may or may not use that. And I have some little tiny stickers. And I have some lace ribbon, I guess. And where, you know, it's about her wedding dress. I wanted to bring that in. And then I'm going to bring in some pattern papers. This is from the Dots and Stripes Peony Small Dots. So it's dots on this side, diagonal stripe on that side. And if you saw, or it might not be up yet, but in one of my making page kits, I put these 3 pattern papers together. And I might break that up and use that with this, or I might use this with the pictures. I haven't quite decided yet, but I know I'm going to take this in. So already I've put a page, you know, started putting a page kit together, and I'm going to use it already. So now I'm going to put you on fast forward, and I'll do a voiceover for the rest. But I was just wanting to let you know what I was thinking at the beginning. I know I want to use those 2 photos, so I'll cut them down so that they're the same size. And then I might use this acrylic word. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so that's it. I'll put you on fast forward and we'll get this page started. Okay, so like I said, this is my first layout using the winter flowers from Cheeky Studio. I put the address at the beginning of the video, but if you just type in cheeky.studio, it'll also bring you there. And this is the monthly kit. It was called Winter Flowers, and I just wanted to show how, even though it's, you know, the name was Winter Flowers, I used it for a total different layout. It was actually of when my daughter, we went shopping for her wedding dress. And so it was, you know, about wedding dress shopping, and I just loved the flowers and how they popped on this layout. Also, the background is from Echo Park, Dots and Stripes. And then I have been putting some new page kits together in the last week or so, and this was session number 2, and you won't actually see this till Wednesday where I put this combo of pattern paper together. I'm going to bring it in here really soon, but up to now I've put 25 pattern paper kits together, and this combination right here with the dark pinks and the light pinks, I really liked it with this collection, the winter flowers. I just found that it had all the colors that were in those flowers in that pattern paper, in those pattern papers, so I decided to already use it. So one of the pattern papers, it's a light pink, and I'm actually going to use it to matte my 2 photos. I made my 2 photos about 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then I made the other pattern paper, sorry, the darker one. I made it about 6.5 inches. Now I wish I could have used the back side of that pattern paper because it said love and forever, so it would have been like a perfect pattern paper for this layout, but it had, instead of white in the background, it was really dark, and it just didn't go at all with, you know, the tones that I wanted to go for this layout. So I decided to, I bring it back 3 or 4 times to see if I can make it work, but I find it too dark, so I'm gonna skip it. So the pattern paper is one of the things that I brought in from my stash, and also the only other thing I brought in from my stash is some labels, because I talk about a lot about my embellishment starters, so my embellishment foundations, and I like to use tags or labels or circles or things like that to start an embellishment cluster. So I did bring in some labels from my stash, and also another thing I brought in from my stash was a ribbon that was from Freckle Fawn, I believe, and it's like a lace ribbon, so again, perfect for a wedding dress layout. Also, this layout is not about her actually which wedding dress she chose. It's more the cavalry that went along to choose her wedding dress. There was myself and my oldest daughter and my mom, and of course Mason had to come. He was the only boy, but he needed to be there. And then there was her fiance's mom and his 2 sisters. And the thing that I want to write the most about is Mason was so funny. I mean, it was a long day. We were gone for a total of exactly 12 hours. We left at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we got home at 7 o'clock at night. But he did good. But the funny thing is every time she would come out with a dress, you know, all the dresses except the one that she chose, and that's the funny part, is he would look at her and say, nope, Pat would not marry you in that. And then when she came out with the dress that she ended up choosing, he went, oh, he would marry you in that dress. And it's funny that she had the same feeling, you know, about the dress, that she really wanted it, and she loved it. That was the dress she ended up choosing. But it was so funny that, you know, that he was just like, nope, he won't marry you in that dress. And then when he saw the dress that, you know, and it did look really good on her and everything. And so he decided that yes, that was the dress. And he felt so special that he was the only guy that was allowed to come and, you know, choose the dress with her. So, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts. Mason needed to be there for, you know, to choose her dress. So I thought that was kind of cute. So anyway, now that I have, you know, I cut down all the pattern papers, I inked all the edges with Hickory Smoke. It's a distress ink by Rangers. And then I started gluing everything down, and I'm going to put that lace ribbon at the top and the bottom of the pattern paper cluster. Now I find the one at the top, you see it a little bit more than the one at the bottom, but that's okay. In person, you can see it a whole lot more than on the video. I put the photos side by side. I mounted it on a light pattern paper and then a dark gray so that it would pop. And then I decided on the dark gray because a lot of the leafy embellishment that I decided to use were gray, so then it was going to pull everything in, plus my labels were in gray. Then also the Project Life card that I decided to use, the center of the flowers was a dark gray. So I'm going to put the Project Life card to the left of the photos, and I'm going to do a little embellishment cluster there. Probably one of my favorite die cuts is that flower cluster that I'm moving around here, and I'm going to put that at the top of the layout. And I'm going to do an embellishment cluster at the top of the layout there, and I really like how it's making a statement up there. I really like the size of it, and I like the colors, but just standing or sitting like that, I found it was kind of floaty. So by adding an like a label next to it and a few little things attached to it, it's going to ground it to the layout. So we'll be doing that in a little bit. I took another piece of that pattern paper, and that's where I'm going to do my journaling, and I'm going to do an embellishment cluster at the bottom right of my journaling block. I also like adding an embellishment cluster around my journaling block, and this time around I'm going to be adding 2 embellishment clusters, and I'll tell you why when we get to it. So see, I was still looking at that big die cut at the top, and I found like it was looking like it was kind of floaty. So by adding that label up there, I find that it helps ground the whole thing. Now I know I want to use some of those flowers as some of the embellishments. I'm just going through the package and seeing whether I want to use the medium ones, the small ones, or the really big ones. And that's what I like about these die cut packs. First of all, they are jam packed with die cuts. There must be like 50 or 60 of them. But not only that, a lot of times I find with embellishment packs, all the embellishments are huge, which I don't like. Like, give me some variety. And that's what I like about these die cut packs, is that I have the variety. I have the big flowers, the medium, and the itty bitty ones, so that I'm able to make different sizes of embellishment clusters, and I really am enjoying that. I'm adding some foam tape in behind a couple of the flowers just to kind of lift it up, and then I'm using some of those leafy die cuts to kind of tuck in behind the flower, which I absolutely love. It just finishes the flowers so well. And again, those leafy things come in medium, large, and small, so that you're able to match them up with your flowers. And then I'm going to end up using one of the flare badges at the bottom right of the layout. Now I'm just going to shorten the label just a little bit. I found that it was poking out a little bit too much, so I just shortened it. And then I knew there was some stickers, so I'm going to take them out and move them around across the layout and trying to figure out where I could use the stickers. And I couldn't figure it out at that point, so I was like, okay, then move on to something that you want to do. So I take my little stickers out, and I'm going to work on the title, which at first I wanted to do the dress squad, and I didn't have the right amount of letters. So I decided to do the dress crew. And so I'm going to move it around, and right at the bottom of that journaling block was the perfect place to put my title. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I like to put my title with an embellishment cluster. So the fact that the embellishment cluster to the right of the journaling block ends right there actually worked out really well. And this is the reason why I decide to put another embellishment cluster at the top of the journaling block, because I also like to put an embellishment cluster with my journaling block. So then it kind of freed me up to do another embellishment cluster, because I felt, well, the first one was for the title, so the second embellishment cluster that I'm going to do is going to be, for my journaling block. Using the same little letters, I put 2017 in one label, and then I put April at the top of the layout, and then it kind of disperses that pink color in the 3 embellishment clusters. And then I'm back to those stickers because I know I want to use it. And then I thought, well, if I cut it out, maybe then I can actually move it around and see where I could fit, the stickers the best. At first I thought, well, maybe I can sort of embellish that embellishment cluster at the bottom right. But then I thought, no, just put it right next to the journaling block and make an extra little embellishment cluster, and it was perfect for this layout because it said "You are lovely." And I'm going to take about, I think it's like a small flower, and I'm going to put it with that sticker. I'm going to take out my wet glue and glue that down. And then I'm going to go into my stash. I guess I grabbed one more thing from my stash, and that was some enamel dots. I looked at those hearts at first, but then I thought, no, I want gray ones because I had introduced gray to the layout, so I wanted to add a little bit more in gray, gray embellishments. So I'm going to add it to 3 spots to the layout, and then I'm going to take out some hickory smoke distress stain, and I'm going to add it to all the embellishment cluster, and that's going to complete this layout. So I have some close-ups of all the embellishment clusters, and I highly suggest that you go check out Cheeky.studio for some die cuts. I get so many Facebook message, Messenger message, YouTube message, and asking me, where can I get some die cuts? Well, this is a spot where you can get huge packages at a reasonable price. And right now, if you use the code NicoleJones911, you can get 10% off your order. And that's it. That's going to complete this layout. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.